Hey guys, welcome to my channel, where you can and will find out how the book and the movie or video game or vice versa are different, better, more in-depth, etc. If that piques your interest, please subscribe and turn on all notifications. And if you're feeling generous, please check out my sponsor in the description and my ghost town of a Patreon. And this week we are wrapping up all that is Dexter. The final book is Dexter's Final Cut, and we'll see where that fits in seasons 7 and 8, as well as the sequel series Dexter New Blood, which for the most part it doesn't, except for two things. One, Dexter feels something for the first time, and two, Dexter faces being caught. Since the series started to decline at season 6 with the Doomsday Killer, and didn't really recover with season 7 or 8 with New Blood, we'll go to ludicrous speed through those seasons. In 7, Miami Metro squares off with the Russian Mafia, just as newly minted Lieutenant Debra has uncovered all of Dexter's secrets and is watching him like a hawk, even during a recreational kill of a gravedigger who likes to wear a bull mask and chase drug-induced paranoid women through a maze before killing them. And a deranged nutcase who sets people on fire willy-nilly. He also finds true love while a cold case is being investigated. And even though Hannah McKay is supposed to be a baddie, she's just so gosh darn likable. And at the peak of it all, LaGuerta, who is long dead in the book, but a newly minted captain in the show, is getting suspicious that the Bay Harbor butcher case is really not over. She investigates, she uncovers, and just as her character development comes full circle, bang bang, just as she has Dexter in a trap of her own creation, she makes Debra have to choose, and she chooses Dexter. In season 8, life is good for Dexter without LaGuerta around to put him in the slammer. But there is a new nutcase in town that has him and Miami Metro on alert, the brain surgeon. There's also a forensic psychologist who turns out to be the very inspiration for the Code of Harry. Debra is also completely self-destructing after having killed LaGuerta for him, and Hannah has escaped prison and come back to Miami to find him. So he's caught between these three, and decides it's time to retire and leave the country. That's when it comes to light that his brain surgeon killer is a mirror image of Dexter, since he's Dr. Vogel's son. And just as he is found out, he kills her, then kills Debra, and is caught by Batista. It is then that Dexter realizes that his presence presents a danger to Harrison and Hannah, and as they are jetting off to Argentina, he drives his boat into a hurricane and fakes his own death. In New Blood, Dexter is living in a one-horse town in upstate New York under an assumed name and selling hunting gear for a day job. But when he gets an inkling that someone isn't quite right, old habits die hard. He kills the son of a prominent man in said one-horse town and does as good a job as he can to cover his tracks, given that he doesn't have his boat anymore. And as it turns out, this big deal of a man in this one-horse town is also a serial killer. He likes to kidnap women, keep them captive for a while and watch them, and then kill them and preserve them like taxidermy, all wearing Marilyn Monroe dresses. And during all this, a 16-year-old Harrison finds him, since Hannah has passed away, and while taking him in and getting to know him all over again, he can see that Harrison has a penchant for violence and decides to introduce him to the Dark Passenger, just as Harrison is getting close to the enemy in this piece. Well, as it turns out, Harrison cannot stomach it, and the sheriff in this one-horse town is not to be underestimated. This season closes with Dexter being put down by his own son, and sent on the run by his ex-girlfriend, the sheriff. There is word of a season 2 of New Blood on the internet, just not sure how it's going to work out without the man. Okay, now for Dexter's final cut. It starts in the middle with Dexter on a movie set, and backpedals a little bit, beginning with Dexter and Debra summoned to the captain's office for a special assignment. Let two big Hollywood stars shadow them for their upcoming movie. Dexter finds himself annoyed and disgusted with the Hollywood heartthrob named Robert Chase, following him around and copying his every mannerism like a trained monkey. At the same time, he is captivated by the starlet named Jackie Forrest, who is shadowing Debra. Then the central case arises. The bodies of young women found in garbage heaps, mangled beyond recognition like they were torn apart by dogs. As it turns out, Jackie has a stalker, and in every city she has filmed in, there have been murder victims found just like this. She shows Dexter and Deb these psycho love letters he's sent, and he's just this dim-witted bumpkin from Tennessee who is not hard for Dexter to catch and kill, which is done in the middle of this story, because it is far from the conclusion. While they're searching for the stalker, Dexter is secretly assigned to be Jackie's personal bodyguard while they're filming in Miami, and while he's looking after her, he's enjoying the finer things in life. Her pricey hotel suite, 5-star meals, top-shelf liquor. And after he kills her stalker, he remains by her side and winds up having an affair with her, and he's just so infatuated with her and her lifestyle that he actually plans on leaving Rita and her kids and their child. Granted, in both the show and the book, Rita and her kids were just primarily being used as stage props, but in the show, he was at least chivalrous. In Dexter's final cut, his inner monologue turns petulant and insolent when discussing his life with Rita. He bemoans a few wrinkles on her face. He denounces the children as just an annoying millstone around his neck. Their home is squalor and a dung heap, and his job is now meaningless drudgery. I find myself not liking him anymore, as here he is acting like a pathetic midlife crisis cliché. But it's not over. Jackie's personal assistant turns up savage just like the previous victims, and then Astor goes missing. Dexter goes on the hunt, and he finds Jackie dead in her trailer, just as he knows it's Robert Chase. He tracks him back to his own house, where he finds Astor wearing something very adult, and Robert knocks him over the head and binds him at the wrists. When he comes to, Astor has drawn final blood, and they're too late to save Rita. So with a dead wife, a dead actor, and an 11-year-old stepdaughter wearing a boudoir outfit and holding a knife, he knows how it looks and just calls it in. His inner monologue has already resigned to prison or couch with Rita is all the same. And in the book ends with both of them preparing to face the music. And that is all for Dexter's final cut and the rest of the series. I am currently working on The Expanse for a subscriber request, but these books are so big, it really is a big undertaking, so I need some more time with it. So next week, I'll be trying my hand at a reaction video. And it won't just be a usual reaction video. It's a surprise. See you then.